to have you joining us again on Pink Basket TV for our exciting chats with passionate business folks who provide us with services and products that we need. It's all about passion and people, and that our channel is for. I am your host, Antoine Elhashem. Today, I have an exciting chat ahead. While usually we have talked to businesses, this one is a chat with a not-for-profit, which is still really needs to be run as a business. I usually say I have been involved in not-for-profits. So let's look at it from that angle. Today, we have Queer Urban Coalition. And with me are two of the principals of this unique idea, Ticha Albino and Joie Lamar, to tell us all about it. So let me bring them on. Hello to both of you.
Hi, Antoine.
Welcome to the show. And go ahead, tell us all about it. What is Queer Urban Coalition? Who wants to take the lead?
Well, I could start, sure. The Queer Urban Coalition is very small and just starting to build as we speak. And it is a concept I came up with. Actually, I think Joey's work in Puerto Rico inspired me as well to do this. So with the container homes. I work for the Labor Education Center, and I have students that are being taught to build things. And a lot of times the building material would often get thrown away. And I've been passionate about ending homelessness for a very, very long time. And so I came up with the idea, maybe not just my organization, but also the other organizations, nonprofit organizations around Toronto and areas, we could maybe utilize the groups that we have and we teach to make what Joey has very nicely called safe sleep shelters. So so the idea is something small, compact that we could build and transport that people in the community could use to sleep in.
Wow.
So
it's not tiny homes exactly. It's not tiny homes.
No, not exactly, because it wouldn't be like a home. It would be more like kind of somewhere between a home and an RV almost. Would you say, Joey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a transitioning space.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Okay. So for people who need it, that's a brilliant idea.
And mostly I was thinking, even if it's a temporary solution for the winter time to keep people out of the cold, if we could talk the cities or districts to place it in areas that aren't used during the winter time, beach fronts, parking lots, close to beaches and parks and things like that. And then hopefully it could transition into something more permanent. So kind of like a pilot project that would hopefully work towards something bigger. And we're trying to get different politicians. So anyway, I'll move on to how I thought of my friend Joey, who is an electrical engineer and all around like just very skilled person, and Lucy, who is an architect. And I thought we have to come up with a design. We have to come up with a design that's workable, that my students could, well, not just my students, anybody and different, there's also Building Up. There's many organizations around that have this kind of situation, which I'm sure they would love to jump on board because they're very community-minded organizations. So but I really didn't want to approach them until we came up with a doable, usable design. Yeah, design that, and maybe even build a prototype so people can see it. So we also thought, we've engaged a few politicians in the idea. They want to know more as well, but they're very interested. We also have another person who's an urban planning person who works at the University of Toronto in the geography department who might be able to help us. And somebody from maybe the mental health organization. So maybe I'll pass it on to Joie now to explain the shelter a little bit, if you want to.
I'm just gonna interrupt for a second. Just the third principal name is Lucy Gala.
That is
Yes.
correct.
And okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Joey.
So, as Ticha mentioned, she came with an amazing idea, something that we can all stand behind, getting people off of the street into a more comfortable shelter that's, as we call them, safe sleep shelters, because that's exactly what they provide, safety and security for those people who need it. And I got involved from the standpoint of, well, number one, Ticha asked, and that's all that needed to happen. But number two is I like the idea of creating these shelters using alternative energy sources and making them self-sustainable so that they're not a burden on the municipalities or cities where they will be placed, or on the taxpayer. And we kind of remove those obstacles from the equation right off the bat. So I've been passionate about alternative energy sources, and that's my field, that and telecommunications. So I get to just get that going and get excited about it as well. And Lucy's design will incorporate the technology that we're looking to put into each one of these shelters so that we can just roll them out, and folks will have comfortable, warm places to sleep, and there will be warm water and running water, and there will be compostable toilets, and it's completely off the grid. Every single one of the shelters are completely off the grid.
Brilliant. What a great coming together of great minds, and what an inspiring idea. And I know some politicians will be having an eye on the Pink Basket TV and our channel. So hopefully more support will come your way. And this is actually the first time I'm introduced fully to the idea. So if there's anything that the LGBT media support you at any point, please don't hesitate. With that, let's talk about the people behind the project. You introduced us a little bit to your background. But more, who are you? I guess. Let's start with Ticha, and then we'll go to Joey.
Well, who am I? I'm Ticha, and I am an electrician by trade. I didn't start till I was in my 40s being an electrician, so I have a lot of experience before then. I've owned a cafe. I've backpacked around Europe. I've done many different things in my life. And where I work now is teaching at the Labor Education Center, which is teaching people who are on Ontario Works welfare program to hopefully get jobs in construction. So transition them into good paying unionized construction jobs. So, so I think there might even be some of the participants may actually need the help of some of these shelters at times, right? Or have had needed in their past, or know people. So I think they're very motivated to help the community. I've also been a volunteer with the Electrical Workers Minority Caucus with human rights work over many years. And that work has plummeted me into the volunteering aspect in community volunteering. And so there is a very healing thing about volunteering in the community and making a difference. So I'm very motivated to get out and help. And I know it's disproportionately often people of color, queer people, especially youth who have been kicked out of their homes, queer, LGBTQ, trans, two-spirited youth, and we would need our help. That need our help, exactly. So I think we're both very motivated, as well as Lucy, to try to help.
Beautiful. And you have a wonderful home life, and you're married, and you have a beautiful dog. So you're
Yes.
all around awesome person. And Joey, you've got a background in a lot.
I know. I'm an electrical engineer. I've been an electrical engineer for, let's say, over 30 years, just to keep it mild, to not age me, with a concentration on telecommunications and alternative energy. I've done a lot of design work over the years for a variety of companies that I've either worked for or contracted to. On a volunteer basis, I've done Engineers Without Borders and just, you know, some stuff that I took on my own as a Puerto Rican. The various natural disasters that have happened in Puerto Rico have driven me to put container homes in places where people lost their homes, wind trees in parquets where there was no power to that local community, some solar energy solutions. And I also worked on one of my patents for many years to deliver wireless power freely to and harvest and deliver wireless power. And I gave that to the University of Puerto Rico just a year ago. And eventually we'll get to work on it together if COVID clears its way out of our path. And when I'm doing that, because that hurts my head, I switch to the other side of my brain and I write and I paint and I podcast and have a wife.
You're about to be a filmmaker soon, and
that's true. I film a screenplay that we have in development. And I mean, did I leave out the wife? No, I have a wife,
and
lots of grandchildren, and 2 beautiful dogs.
well, it sounds like you both are so not busy that you have lots of time to be trying to help other people. But that's what's awesome, that you are busy, but you are thinking of creating something to help others. So, is anybody else doing this? What makes your idea unique? Is anybody else out there doing something like this at all?
I don't believe in this. I think they are doing it in other places around the United States. I think there have been examples of different communities. I'm not sure exactly where, but I vaguely remember reading some things. I think in California there might be a few places. I don't think anyone's doing it. You, Joie? I don't think anyone's doing it around here that I know of.
No, there's a lot of tiny home communities geared towards helping the homeless and disenfranchised or the marginalized groups. I think the one in California is to that end, but there are none, as far as I know, that are completely off the grid. And that's, I think, the unique and value that we bring to the table.
Is there anything you foresee that will have to be dealt with differently with running the show now that we're entering maybe a more world where we have to, you know, be mindful of certain things, I guess?
I'm not sure I understand.
Ask other guests how are they planning to operate during COVID-19. I don't know how that applies to you, considering you haven't really started, but how would you address that?
Well, the irony is this is probably the time that people need it the most, and this is the time it's the hardest to implement it, because our programs are all shut down now. So, you know, if we could have had that concept back a year ago, you know, 2020, but so I think there'll always be a need for it anyway. So once we can start operation, I think that this thing's not going to go away for a while. There's going to be, and there is news of homeless people catching the virus, and when you go to the shelters, it's really, I just saw a webinar about the shelters and how hard it is for people who work in the shelters, because they have to turn people away because rooms are getting shut down because the virus has spread there, have as many. Anyway, yeah, I think this is a very timely situation where they could use them the most, more than before, because the weather's getting better. Yeah, the weather's getting better. Being homeless at this time of year isn't quite as bad as the winter time. but it's bad because of the COVID-19.
Do you think it'll be in operation before winter?
We're hoping so.
I think so. I think, and just to tag on to what Ticha said, I think this is the perfect solution for the new normal that we're facing with COVID-19. I think these shelters, we want them first and foremost to serve the people that need them. Come the next, I think this virus is going to come in waves like the flu. At least that's what the professionals are saying. But if that's so, we can gear up these communities for the homeless. But there's nothing to prevent these shelters from also moving on to become something that somebody puts in their backyard so that they could have their son, daughter, or parent nearby at the next time the pandemic hits, right? Or the next time this hits. It becomes a shelter that you can join together. We hope to, be able to take two and put them together for families. And also economic times are affected by all of this. And I hope and pray that, no one loses their home during this time. But again, this is a really cost-effective solution for someone who might be transitioning between homes because of jobs or whatever, right?
Yeah, and also like even care professionals who don't want to, who have to go work close to people who are infected, not wanting to bring it home to their family. They're sleeping out in tents in their backyards. They're sleeping in their tree houses and their cars, but they don't bring it to their family. So this could be another,
that's a great another avenue. Yeah, you're right. That's brilliant.
One of the things we didn't mention was that these shelters are being built to not exceed the size of a parking space, so that there's no permitting involved. We can actually put them into a parking space at a hospital if they need to have doctors or professionals nearby instead of a car, right? So they can live in them.
Actually. Cool. What lessons, a question to both of you, what lessons have you learned over the years of running your businesses maybe that you bring to this adventure?
Well, speaking for myself, I was a construction worker for many years, and also I did have was a partner in a cafe, and I've worked in group homes with mostly mentally challenged people. So I think just a lot of different things. I've been a volunteer firefighter. I worked around the downtown east side, not too far from there. Been through and witnessed homelessness and really that we're a rich country. There's no reason why anyone should be homeless. So knowing where we're from and that we have privilege and we do have wealth in this country, and it's proven by this COVID-19, how the government was able to come up with billions and billions of dollars to help everybody. And it's also been proven that getting people into homes and off the streets is actually financially better for a community. I don't know, Joie, do you want to?
Yeah. What have you learned from the past?
Well, I've been working towards climate change issues for a long time now, and I think a lot of what we're facing today and moving forward is affected by the damage that we've done to the planet. And this is yet another way of healing the planet and minimizing the carbon footprint while also putting people who need homes in a comfortable spot. So I bring that, that past of different solutions to try and curb the monster that human urbanization has caused, and doing it the right way.
Cool. What inspires you to see in business? This is a business show, so let's see. Think of other businesses out there and what have you. Joie, what inspires you when you see a business doing?
What inspires me when I see I think the business opportunities that inspire me the most are the ones that are less about capitalism and more about moving forward to heal the planet and heal people. right? In general, just we, like Ticha said, we're a wealthy country here. We're a wealthy country in the U.S. and almost every place where homelessness is an issue happens in wealthy countries. That's kind of ironic if you think about
be
it.
that reason. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's all behind capitalism and the so-called economy, right? That we massage like, you know, your best friend. There's other ways. There's other ways to work with the economy and also minimize our what's the word? Our destructive footprint. That's the best way to put it, right?
Ticha?
I'm inspired by businesses that serve the community. I'm inspired by businesses that not the Amazons of the world, you know, the ones that are the smaller, that are there to help build jobs for people and share the wealth. So when I hear about businesses that go out and they actually, there's this one guy in Washington, D.C., for example, who not Washington, D.C., Washington State, who gave up a lot of his CEO money to help spread the wealth among employees, so that and share the wealth, and the business grew even more. Like the effect was people felt better about themselves. They were willing to work harder for this person and for themselves, right? So that kind of cooperative sort of businesses is the things that inspire me. I love, and nonprofit organizations.
Now let's switch to life. What inspires you in life? Let's start with Ticha.
Well, people like you, actually, Antoine and Joie.
Oh, don't.
You know, I mean, I got to know all of you because I joined the Inspire Awards, and I got to meet people in the community that are doing really great work in the community. Being on the Electrical Workers Minority Caucus, which is a national, I'm on the executive board, which is all the way through North America, and the people on the electrical, they inspire me all the time. One of my best friends, Sean Bagsby, is running for business manager out in Seattle, and he is just an amazing, warm, wonderful person. And the people, the president of the organization and all the people on it are working towards exactly what we're talking about: coalition, building coalitions, and strengthening and lifting each other up. And so in life, it's those organizations like the Inspire Awards, like the Electrical Workers Minority Caucus, like Raising the Roof, and all these different organizations, even the organization I work for, Labor Education Center, helping to employ people. That's those kind of things, that they inspire me in life and push me towards, and also what's coming up with all the things we see coming out of the woodwork with COVID-19, all these people who are helping each other. Like I just posted, one of my coworkers went and picked up a bunch of food from a Muslim organization who are feeding hundreds and hundreds of people, especially during Ramadan. Nice. And they are actually putting some food bags together. It's really amazing that during this terrible times, and I think it happened during World War II and other times in our history, that people actually pull together. And I'm inspired to know maybe we can change how we do things in our world when this is all over. So I think there's an awakening that has been happening. And so I'm inspired.
I thank you for the nice words. And what inspires me are people who are starting queer urban coalitions. But Joie, let's get to you.
I mean, all of the above what Ticha said. For sure, you, Antoine, and people like Ticha. I mean, again, you know, just riding on the back of what Ticha said, it's pretty magical that you become part of the Inspire Awards team and you walk away with the award of inspiration. So it's people like you and that team and the community. The community, our queer community, always inspires me because we come from a world of constantly having to fight for our position as human beings on this planet, and that's inspirational. It always will be. And I'm inspired by Mother Nature. I'm inspired by the universe around us that we take for granted in all her beauty. And love. I'm inspired by love too. I think one of the greatest things of COVID-19 is watching all the love amongst friends, getting together on Zoom, playing games like we do, talking to each other more and checking on each other more and helping each other more. That's all love. And it just rose out of the ashes with this
You know what?
pandemic.
I know you are seeing you try to see the silver lining, and you're seeing the beauty of even the times when we are challenged. I'm
Yeah.
just going to explain to our audience, for any viewer who's watching, the Inspire Awards is just a community organization that I had the mind to start about 10 years ago, and that they're referring to. It celebrates the LGBT community with an annual big celebration. Uh, let's talk about physical distancing. We are having to run our life and businesses differently. How are you spending your time? I know from seeing you on social media, you wear a lot of masks. What else have you been doing to keep safe?
Well, I keep busy. I actually, did a schedule for myself because I'm still doing my electrical engineering work. I didn't know I was self-distancing before this all hit. It turns out I was. And I write and I paint. And so I've had to actually make a schedule for myself Monday through Friday, just so that I, kind of allocate the time for everything that I have on my plate now. I think the only tough part about social distancing is not hugging friends, right? And not being close with friends again. But this too shall pass. It'll be a different normal, and we will adjust and make the best of it.
Absolutely. I am going to repeat that advice again to business people watching. It's a lot of what we read. It's very advisable to keep a proper schedule like you are working. It's better for your systems and your mentality. Okay, after you, Tisha. I renamed you. After you, Tisha. What inspires you in life?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. We done that. How are you spending physical distancing? Sorry.
Oh, that, yeah, okay. I was trying to remember what the question was too. Well, lots of this kind of thing, lots of Zoom meetings, lots of like social Zoom meetings and game playing with house party, finding ways. And it's funny, I think Joey kind of touched on this, is that somehow I'm feeling closer to people in a strange way. I'm appreciating people a lot more. Maybe that's why. And very important also what Joey said and you're saying about schedule. Last week I wasn't feeling great, and this week I decided, like, I'm going to start waking up at the same time. I'm going to have a routine. I'll go have a shower, get dressed instead of sitting in my pajamas, and go take the dog for a walk, have my coffee, and then I'm actually still working. I'm working from home, and then so I get ready for my work day on often many Zoom meetings. I'm teaching some students over Zoom, and trying to help where I can, and also trying to make sure the staff I work with, that because I'm in sort of a managerial position, that they are getting what they need to, that we check in with them and make sure that their mental health is still okay, just chit chat and have a little bit of warm contact. And I find we're getting closer to, as a community, a working community. It's been very interesting to see how things are.
Absolutely. I also like what you said. My business coach 16 years ago, when I first opened the business, advised me to do exactly that, because I personally, I've had 16 years of getting used to working from a home office, so nothing has changed for me. I have a system where I wake up like I'm going to work, shower, get dressed, wear my clothes, even go outside maybe for a walk around the block just so I can re-enter my place as I'm like going back to work kind of thing. So that kind of system, that kind of routine keeps you a little bit better in check. Okay, let's do the contact stuff. How do we find and get in touch with Queer Urban Coalition? If anybody has ideas or want to help or what have you.
Well, Joey created a Facebook page. Do you want to talk about the Facebook page, Joey?
Yeah, the Facebook page can be found ampersand, is that ampersand sign, Safe Sleep Shelter, Queer Urban Coalition. And it's open for comments, messages, and reaching out to us. We also have an email address, queerurbancoalition@gmail.com, correct?
That's right,
yeah, so any one of those, reach out to us. We'd love to talk to people about different ideas, donations, if you donate materials or anything else. We're working on our prototype. Lucy's in the process of designing that now, and then we'll add the technology and mechanics to that, and we hope to have one done as soon as we can physically do so. And then we'll take it from there. Hopefully we can build a couple of prototypes, put one out in Toronto and put one out in Oshawa or the Durham region area, at least for people to walk around and look at and understand, the comfort that we're trying to create for the homeless. And then we'll expand and put them everywhere they need to be. Excellent. Did I cover everything?
Yes. Yep. I don't know. Okay, we're gonna close with this. Let's do a recommendation from each of you. We all could use good feelings and warm and fuzzies and all these things these days. So I want from each of you to recommend to our viewers, business owners, community, anybody watching, a book, a film, a show, a song, an activity that you have been doing that has been making you feel good that you think we should give it a try. Ticha.
I think the Zoom or the house party has been a lot of fun. That's been a fun activity that I've been, able to connect with people when I have a chance. I'm going out and working on the backyard and getting fresh air. So getting out and getting some fresh air, I think, is really, really important. And luckily, it's the time of year where it's not so cold out. And I find what's interesting is people are a lot friendlier than they used to be. People are actually waving and saying hello, where I'd never experienced that quite before. So now people, I think, want that interaction and that contact. So yeah, a movie. I saw the movie on Hillary, about Hillary Clinton yesterday. Although it was sad, it was kind of inspirational too.
Where did you see that? I wouldn't mind checking it out. Where find it?
It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix? Okay, cool. All right. Joey, I know you're a consumer of everything. What do you recommend?
So I'm going to go back, since this is a business recording. For many years, I have read on a yearly basis a book called The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari by Robin Sharma. And it changed my life, because I went from being a very, I want to say, money motivated CEO. I traveled 300 days out of the year, ran several companies, 3 companies to be exact, had a lot of employees, and still my life wasn't 100% happy. And so that book changed my life, because it, I'm not going to give it away, but it definitely helps you to understand that being money motivated is not a natural motivator. That's something that we created. And so when you look at all the other aspects of your life, your business flourishes as a result. It's a byproduct. And it could be a corporation, or it could be just, you build ashtrays in your home and sell them at flea markets. Whatever it is,
applies to everybody.
That book is a great book to read, to find your happiness in what you do.
Oh, very nice. Thank you for the recommendation. I heard of the book.
You're
and
welcome.
With that, thank you so much for the work that you do, for this really great idea. All the best and best of luck on it. And everyone watching, we love you. Support your local business, support fantastic ideas to make the world better like this. And with that, keep watching. We're going to have a lot more great reviews on Pink Basket TV, and have a lovely day.